like, share, comment, and subscribe.
For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to Tech ARK IT YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that how to create firewall rules or how a firewall works in Linux. Let's see that. So basically most of the times the firewall cmd command we can use on the command line to create the rules, but here which I am going to show you a easy way that you can also use the graphical make this firewall rules so easy. So how you can use that, let's see. If you want to open a firewall graphical mode, you can also go to terminal and type firewall-cmd config. Then it opens a firewall configuration window over here. So from here you can make this configuration changes. You can also open a application. From the application, if you go to the sundry and say firewall, and this is also open the similar way. So here we are going to see that the graphical window how it's going to work. Okay, so this is exactly a graphical window over here. So in this firewall cmd, actually there are two configurations. So one is a runtime configuration, next one is a permanent configuration. We are going to see that. So this is runtime configuration and this is permanent configuration. So if you make runtime configuration, so runtime configuration in the sense whenever your machine is on, you make some configurations it affect your rules. Then whenever you reboot your Linux machine, so the whatever the rules you made, it's go off. But whenever you make on the permanent rule, if you restart your machine also, it does not go away. That's the difference between the runtime configuration and permanent configuration. We are going to see over here, and you can see this, the connections, whatever you have, how many connections you have, make your connections, which connection you would like to make the changes. You can also use any Ethernet ports, okay, or you can use these zones. You can make multiple zones because these multiple zones can help you out, because example say you have in office, so you can make some office zone over here and write certain rules. Then you go to the public place, you make some certain rules and you activate that public zone. Or you can go to home, or you can make some related configuration changes on this zone or the rules on this zone. Then that can affect whenever you activate that zone. Like this, you can do a number of zones and activate them whenever you need, or based on your network connectivity, or based on your things what you want to activate or what you don't want it to activate. You can use this to activate or not to activate. Let's see over here. So I'm just making the configuration changes over here on the permanent basis on the system. Okay, and just change the configuration to permanent, and I'm going to change these zones, and I'm going to change this configuration into the public zone. Here these are the services. What are the services currently it's enabled on the firewall? Let's see this: IPv6 client, HTTP, HTTPS, SSH. So these are the by default are enabled, or I have enabled this HTTP and HTTPS for making the HTTP web server communication. Or if you want to enable anything, you can just say that tick mark it. Example say I wanted to enable FTP, just tick mark it. And example say I wanted to enable NFS and NTP, something like this. So that's it, it's enabled. Now you can go to this ports. So there is no ports are currently enabled. So if you enable the services also, it's by defaultly enables the ports, but you don't need to remember the ports whenever the services are there. But which are non-standard ports, example say that the standard ports, example SSH is 22, but if you do not have any non-standard services or non-standard ports, then you have to manually enable them over here. Example say here I just wanted to specify something like this 18634, and this is a TCP port, just I would like to enable over here. So this port is enabled now. If you want to enable any protocol level settings, so you can use this any protocol over here, TCP, UDP, ICMP, or if you want to block it or if you want to enable it, you can do all this stuff over here. Source ports, so which are the additional source ports, example say that the range in ports you can accessible or you can do from this machine. So you can add it range of ports, example say that I would like to say 1024 to 60,000 ports, I don't want to use it, or you can enable it like this, so that all the ports of range of ports will be enabled in the single go. Like this you can do that. So mascotting in the sense, this is not just it's a Linux service, or I can say simply say that it's just like NATing settings, network address translation settings, like you do on the network side. In similar way you can do this IP mosquitoes over here. So if you want to make mosquito zones, you can make it over here, or forwarding these zones from one IP address to another IP address, or you can NAT, example say that none of the machine has some public IP address, but that IP address, whenever you get the request over there, it lands to the another private IP address, and which communicate with the public IP address, but the end user knows only the public IP address, but internally it redirects to the different IP address. That's called muscadence. You can just use these rules as well, but I'm not going to use any muscading rule over here. So this is called port forwarding. Port forwarding sometimes very secure, or if you wanted to use this port forwarding method, say an example, I am just saying that I am forwarding some of the logs to one of the machine which listens on actually 514, but internally I have another service which is listening on maybe in a non-standard port or in different ports, maybe a 9000 ports or 8000 ports, something like that. If you want to forward those logs to this connection, you can make use of these forwardings. Or maybe you can say that my standard, I don't want to use any standard ports to be communicate on the external face, I just wanted to change them to the internally with the service changes. You can use this port forwarding, so that what happens, whenever somebody is trying to access your machine with the standard ports, they cannot access, because it's going to be changed into the different ports, and the port listening on a different port settings. So that's what you can do over here. Example say that I'm just using the source protocol TCP. So here I'm just forwarding 1024 port number to the destination. So local forwarding I'm just using, or forward to another port. Maybe you can use these different IP address as well. So maybe I wanted to send this forwarding to the different machine, you can also do that. Or you can also use this local forwarding in the sense, within the local machine it forwarding that 1024 port number to the 2048 port number. Like this you can use a port rule which can forward this port to this port. Whenever your traffic is getting to the 1024 and it's going to be forward to the 2048. This is a port forwarding rule. If you want to remove it, you can just simply select and remove it. ICMP filters. ICMP filters are very useful sometimes, which are if you set one example, say that I ping to the machine, the machine is pinging, which means that okay, I know that the machine is up and running. But sometimes if you disable this ICMP echo or echo request, say that when I ping from the remote machine, it says that I could not able to ping this machine, because whenever any ICMP packet is getting into this machine, say that drop it. So that's why you can make this sometimes useful, sometimes not, because if you say echo request you are going to deny, say that if I ping this machine, is going to be not respond to the ping, because the ICMP filter I put is that do not respond to the any ICMP request. So the remote user may say that the machine is down or the server is down, I am not able to make ping to that machine. So you can make based on your security reasons or security methods what you would like to do over here. And rich rules, you can write the rich rules to allow a port or the allow a IP address, like example, say that I would like to say I don't want to make all the each and every IP address to be listed over here. Instead of that, you can make entire subnet address over here, or something like protocol forwarding or port forwarding, something like that you can do over here. See this. So you can select any version of over here. Example, say I select IPv4 and eliminate which service or port or whatever you would like to do over here. So example, say that port and what you want like to write over here, which port range. So I don't want to specify any port range over here, maybe some random port I just selected over here. This one, what is the action you would like to say over here? So and you would like to forward this one, or you would like to whatever it is, or if you want to specify set up IP addresses over here, you can set up that IP addresses over here. Or if you want to maybe MAC address, based on the MAC address you can add that MAC address to filter. Or if you want to use a IP range, you can also use this IP range followed by the subnet mask over here. And where you wanted to forward or where you wanted to do this port settings forwards, you can also use this IP range or IP address, all this stuff. So this is how you can write the rich rules on the graphical mode. You have to understand before what you are making the connections or what you are making the rich rule is all about, then make the connection. So first of all, write into the paper and what you are going to do over here, then make that rich rule here. So this is the interfaces. Example, say that if you have multiple interface names, if you would like to add into this public zone, you can also add interfaces over here. But by default I have only one NIC card, or I have only one interface over here. I am not adding any other because I do not have any other to add. Sources, so these are the sources if you would like to add over here based on the MAC address, IP addresses, binding source addresses, all this information you can add over here. See this MAC address, IP is the same rule over here, you can add. This is how the zones can be. So you can see that services directly you can allow based on these services. So if you want to add some standard service you have, example, say that I have some my naming service name called any application I made it. Example, say that Arkit is my service name. So example, specify that my version name is 4. Okay, short name is nothing, description is nothing, you can simply add over here. So this port number, this service is going to be added over here. You can define that what is the port number, example, the service is going to be listen on. So whenever you are adding the rule on the firewall, you don't need to specify the port number manually. You can simply add this hyphen service, then provide the service name. That's it. So this automatically the service rule is going to be added into the firewall. So these are the IP sets. If you'd like to specify the IP sets, like example say that this is my certain zone, I have this IP range, or based on the location or based on the work zones, you can specify the IP sets over here. So these all the configurations you can do from here on the graphical user interface. It's very simple. Then after that, what you have to do is that you have to reload this firewall settings so that it's going to be commit those changes. Okay, you have to do this, reload this firewall D. Then what happens, the all the rules what are the configuration as of now you did it, it's going to be effect over here. So if you do not do reload, what happens is going to be not effective. It's not effective. Okay, or you can also make if you made some runtime rules, if you would like to convert them to the permanent, you can also use this runtime to permanent. It's going to be do your rules as permanently from the runtime to permanent. So that's how you can do the firewall settings or firewall configuration using this GUI tool over here. If you'd like to make the same related settings, you can also use this firewall-cmd is the command which can help you out in making the rules. So there are so many, as of I showed you in the graphical user mode, you make use of this firewall-cmd to make this command line change. From the command line you can use this firewall-cmd command. Example say, if I would like to make some changes, or if I would like to make any firewall related rules, then you can use this. So first of all, I am going to verify that firewall status, systemctl status, firewall D is the service. If the service is running, you can make any rules. If the service is not running, you cannot use firewall-cmd, which do not affect any configuration changes on the firewall D. So just I am going to make some firewall-cmd -- get default zone. I say that what is my currently default zone is. So anytime you can set one zone as your default zone. That's what I said, that you can make multiple zones, but you can activate only one zone as your default zone. So whatever the rules you written on that particular zone will be affected whenever you activate that zone. Okay, simply you can do that firewall-cmd set default zone equal to whatever the zone you would like to. So whatever the zone you have created, that you can make it as default. Example say, I'm just making again the public as my default. It's already there, so that's why it says that the zone is already set to the default. Now you can see that what is the my currently active zones are. Get active zones. So there is always one zone that is going to be related. I can see that firewall-cmd version, which version currently I am using, it's 0.4.4.4. If you'd like to list out the interfaces which are currently added into your public zone, you can simply use firewall-cmd zone. So which zone you would like to use. So this zone, what are the interfaces are there. Example say that list interfaces. So these interfaces currently added into the public zone. Example say, if you have different zone, you can use that zone. So there is no interfaces added into the home zone. If you'd like to add, you can also add using this firewall-cmd command over here. Firewall-cmd add interface equal to interface name. Example say that ETS0 example -- zone equal to yes, equal to home, so that this is going to add interface ETH0 to the zone called home. Firewall -cmd -remove interface equal to ETH0 -zone equal to home. So if you want to remove that interface from the zone, you can use this command to remove that one. Or if you would like to see that how many services are currently there on this firewall, you can use firewall-cmd -get services. So all the services which are currently there on this firewall, it will be listed all over here. Like this, you can add things or remove the things, or you can do a rich rules, or if you want to import bulk settings or bulk changes to this firewall, you can use this XML file where it is located on the etc cat/etc firewall d, and here on this zones example, say that this is called a public XML file. Currently we have made the changes on using the graphical user mode over here, right? Like this, you can make this XML file and add these services and ports, settings, all the stuff. You can load that directly XML file and reload this firewall settings, so that in the single go you can make firewall changes. Like this, you can use your firewall. There are so many stuff you can do. That example I'm going to show you over here is that I'm going to make some permanent port forwarding rule. This is the port rule we have to add. Okay, it's already there, and you can have to use firewall-cmd -reload, so that whatever the changes you made, it's going to be effective. That's about firewall, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and courses. Please follow us on social networking sites. If you have any technical related questions, you can ask